Good morning friends, myself Dr. Ashish Panchal from Trisha Institute of Biology। जैसे हमने लास्ट वीडियो में देखा ग्लाइकोलिसिस, ग्लाइकोलिसिस का मतलब क्या है? ब्रेकडाउन ऑफ ग्लूकोज। मीन्स वंस द ग्लूकोज गेट ब्रेक डाउन एंड इट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू 2 molecules ऑफ पायरुविक एसिड। सो ग्लाइकोलिसिस में क्या हो रहा था? ग्लूकोज ब्रेक डाउन and it is converted into pyruvic acid. 2 mole of the pyruvic acid is formed after the glycolysis. Okay, but now this pyruvic acid, if oxygen is available, means in presence of oxygen and in absence of oxygen, अगर oxygen presence है और oxygen absent है, अगर ऑक्सीजन प्रेजेंट है इट इज एंटर इनटू एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन। इफ ऑक्सीजन इज एब्सेंट देन इट इज एंटर इनटू एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन। Okay, as we discussed earlier, the glucose undergoing the breakdown with the help of glycolysis and it form the 2 molecule of the pyruvic acid. Now this pyruvic acid, if oxygen is available and oxygen is used, it is enter into aerobic respiration, and in aerobic respiration it perform in the mitochondria, and there are mainly 2 events. One is Krebs-cycle and second one is the ETS, that is electron transport system. It is called electron transport system. And if it is undergoing the anaerobic respiration, means if oxygen is not available, it undergoing the anaerobic respiration, it is known as the fermentation. If it is takes place in the plant, if the fermentation takes place in the plant, then it is known as alcohol fermentation, and if it is takes place in animal, then it is known as lactic acid fermentation, right? So now let us discuss the aerobic respiration. तो जब भी पायरुविक एसिड अगर ऑक्सीजन अवेलेबल है और वो एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन में जाता है तो वो कहाँ जाएगा? क्रेब्स साइकिल में। But before enter into the Krebs-cycle, there is the oxidation of pyruvic acid. Before going to Krebs-cycle, the step is known as the link phase. It is called the link phase between the glycolysis and Krebs cycle, or it is known as the oxidation of pyruvic acid. Where the oxidation of pyruvic acid takes place? So oxidation of pyruvic acid takes place in the, it takes place in PMS. PMS means peri-mitochondrial space. It is takes place in peri-mitochondrial space. Now what is peri-mitochondrial space? Suppose this is the mitochondria. It is the outer membrane of mitochondria, and here it is the inner membrane of mitochondria. This is called inner membrane of mitochondria. So there is the space between the outer and inner membrane of mitochondria. This space is called the PMS, or it is also called as an intermembrane space. So pyruvic acid, oxidation of pyruvic acid takes place in the intermembrane space, or it is known as the peri-mitochondrial space. Now how this oxidation takes place? तो अब हमारे पास क्या है? pyruvic acid, pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid has how many carbon? So it has the 3 carbon containing compound. Now this pyruvic acid is undergoing the oxidation with the help of enzyme. Which enzyme? So the name of enzyme is pyruvic acid dehydrogenase. Pyruvic acid dehydrogenase decarboxylase enzyme complex. Means this pyruvic acid, actually where the pyruvic acid is formed? Pyruvic acid is formed in the cytoplasma. Why? Because this glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasma of cell. From that, this pyruvic acid is entered into the peri-mitochondrial space, where it get oxidized with the help of enzyme pyruvic acid dehydrogenase decarboxylase complex. With this enzyme, the certain cofactor are also required, that is La. La means it is lipoic acid. Then TPP. TPP means thiamine pyrophosphate. Pyrophosphate. And one cofactor, that is Mg+2 is required during this reaction. And during this reaction, here dehydrogenase. So dehydrogenase means it remove the hydrogen, means 2H plus is removed, and this 2H plus is accepted by the NAD plus, and this NAD plus is hydrogen acceptor, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and it accepts the hydrogen and it form NADH plus H plus. When the NADH formed, simultaneously it formed one molecule of water also. Okay, ये पानी कहाँ से फॉर्म होता है? That will be discussed in the ETS cycle. Okay, but यहाँ आपको सिर्फ इतना याद रखना है कि one molecule of H2O is formed whenever the NADH2 is formed. One more thing, that is the decarboxylase, means during this reaction the carbon dioxide is released. So pyruvic acid has the 3 carbon, and with this reaction it forms the acetyl coenzyme A, and this acetyl coenzyme A has the 2 carbon containing compound. Why? Because during this reaction 1 carbon dioxide is removed from the pyruvic acid. Now here coenzyme A is added. So during this reaction 1 molecule of coenzyme A is added in this reaction also. So this is all about the oxidation of pyruvic acid. So first, where the pyruvic acid oxidation takes place? So oxidation of pyruvic acid takes place in the peri-mitochondrial space. क्या होता है उसमें कि pyruvic acid with the help of enzyme pyruvic acid dehydrogenase decarboxylase enzyme complex in presence of lipoic acid TPP and Mg+2 dehydrogenase, तो hydrogen remove होगा, that hydrogen will accept by NAD and NAD is converted into NADH2. Whenever the NADH2 is formed, it produces the 1 molecules of water. During this reaction decarboxylase enzyme are also involved, so they release the carbon dioxide and 3 carbon containing pyruvic acid is converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and it has the 2 carbon by removing of the carbon dioxide. And during this reaction 1 molecule of the coenzyme A is also added. So this is all about the link phase, means after glycolysis pyruvic acid, if the pyruvic acid is enter into the aerobic respiration, so before enter into the mitochondria the oxidation of pyruvic acid should be take place. Okay, and this is all about the oxidation of pyruvic acid, or it is known as the link phase between the glycolysis and the Krebs cycle. Okay, thank you, and in next video we will discuss the Krebs cycle.